All right, let's jump into a story that so many of us know and love. We're going to explore one single pivotal year in the lives of four sisters, a year where everything changes. We're talking love, loss, and this fierce ambition to carve out a life on their own terms. So let's meet the March sisters. You've got Meg, the oldest, who's dreaming of a more comfortable life. Then there's Jo, our fiery writer, who is just hungry for independence. Beth is the gentle soul, kind of the glue that holds them all together. And finally, Amy, the young, ambitious artist. Their bond, you guys, is the absolute bedrock of their world. And that world is about to be tested in ways they can't even begin to imagine. Okay, so our story really kicks off during a pretty difficult Christmas. Their father is away at war, and the family is facing what was called genteel poverty. What does that mean? Well, they've got their pride, they've got a good name, but they have very, very little money. The holiday almost feels like a painful reminder of everything they lack. But it's right here, in this moment of scarcity, that we really get to see their true character shine. Their home is simple, for sure, but it's filled with this warmth that has absolutely nothing to do with money. So when their mother gently suggests, hey, maybe we go without presents this year, the sisters decide to find their joy not in what they might get, but in what they can give. Now, what's so powerful about this moment is that it's Beth, the quietest sister, who makes this suggestion. She inspires this amazing collective act of generosity. They all pool their few dollars, each one buying a really thoughtful gift for their mother. And just like that, they transform a season of hardship into this incredible statement of love. And right then, a letter arrives from their father. He calls them his loving children, and his words of pride just kind of reach across the distance and remind them that even in a world that offers them so little, their family bond is their greatest treasure. So the story now moves from the quiet of their home to the, well, unexpected excitement of a New Year's Eve party. An invitation shows up, and with it comes the promise of a new connection that's going to send ripples through all of their lives.
But of course, the invitation immediately brings up a familiar problem. What are they going to wear? Meg is so anxious about their old dresses. And to make matters worse, Jo has a fresh burn mark on the back of hers. But Jo, ever the practical one, comes up with a plan. She'll make Meg's hair look so pretty that no one will even notice her dress. And as for her, well, she'll just keep her back to the wall all night. Simple.
So there's Jo hiding out in an alcove, and she literally backs right into a kindred spirit, a young man named Laurie. And it turns out he wants to avoid this party just as much as she does. When Jo admits, I don't know many people, you can almost hear the relief in his voice when he replies, me too. In that one simple confession, a friendship is born, all from a shared feeling of being an outsider. The evening ends with this totally unexpected act of kindness. Meg twists her ankle while dancing, and Laurie insists on taking them home in his grandfather's super grand carriage. This gesture, it totally opens the door for Laurie to become a huge part of the March family's world. Now, we need to talk about Jo's biggest passion, her writing. You gotta remember, for a young woman in the 19th century, there weren't a lot of options. Writing wasn't just a hobby for her, it was a lifeline. It was her secret hope for fame, for fortune, and most of all, for independence. But that ambition is about to run headfirst into some good old-fashioned family jealousy. In the conflict, it seems so small at first. Laurie invites Meg and Jo to the theater, and Amy is desperate to go too. But Jo, who is just so tired of her younger sister tagging along everywhere, she puts her foot down, a firm no. For Amy, that rejection is a huge blow to her pride, and it plants this little seed of revenge. So when Jo gets back from the theater, Amy is waiting. Jo's most prized possession, the book filled with all the stories she spent years and years creating, it's missing. She turns to Amy, and this dreadful feeling just starts rising in her chest as she asks where it is. And then Amy delivers the devastating blow. Fueled by that petty anger, she burned Jo's manuscript. This wasn't just a book, you know. It was Jo's soul. It was her future, her independence, years of painstaking work, all gone. Up in smoke in a flash of jealous rage. The betrayal is just absolute, and it leaves Jo completely and utterly shattered. So as the sisters are trying to deal with this incredibly personal drama, the outside world just comes crashing in. The story takes this sudden, really dark turn. It's a gray November day, and a single piece of paper arrives that is about to change everything. Their mother gets a telegram, and the girls just watch as all the color drains from her face. In a voice they can barely even recognize, she reads the message out loud. And in that one instant, all their childhood anxieties are replaced by a very, very adult fear. The message is just terrifyingly direct. Their father is gravely ill. Their mother has to go to him immediately. And suddenly, that distance that separated them feels enormous, insurmountable even. And the fear for his life just hangs over the entire house like a shadow. But instead of falling apart, the sisters rally. I mean, immediately. They start making plans, helping their mother pack, organizing the household, and promising to work harder than they ever have before. They're basically forced to grow up in an instant, and their focus shifts entirely to one thing: holding their family together. But their trials are far from over. As winter really sets in, Beth, who had been so quietly caring for a poor family with a sick baby, she comes down with a terrible fever. The doctor's diagnosis is grim. So now, with their father fighting for his life miles away, the family has to face a second battle, right there under their own roof. But in this darkest of hours, something like hope begins to emerge from the ashes of Jo's lost dream. She's still heartbroken over her burned book, of course, but she discovers a new, more urgent purpose for her talent. Her ambition isn't gone, it's just transformed. With medical bills piling up and her mother away, Jo knows the family desperately needs money, so she starts writing again. But this time, it's not for fame, it's for survival. She starts selling these sensational stories to the local paper, using her imagination to literally put food on the table.
Then, she does something even bolder. She secretly enters a writing competition. 6 agonizing weeks go by before a letter finally arrives. And inside, a check for $100, which was a truly life-changing amount of money for her family back then. In that one moment, her private passion becomes their public salvation.
This pivotal year in the lives of the March sisters really shows us how a crisis can totally reshape who we are. Jo's ambition, which was once a source of personal pride and a ton of family conflict, becomes the very thing that helps sustain them. And it leaves us with a really powerful question, doesn't it? When the people we love are pushed to the absolute brink, what hidden talents, what deep reserves of strength do we discover we had inside us all along?